Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode with Focal Mind Films. Today we're going to be going over 5 different tips that help me in my photography. So the very first tip is going to be framing. Framing is very important when it comes to photography or videography. So the very first thing to remember when you're taking a picture is, what is your subject? Is it keys on a table? Are you taking photos for food photography? Is it maybe portraits? It all depends on what your subject is. You want to make sure that when you look at the photo, that's the very first thing that you look at. Because if your eyes are attracted to that, so will your audience. You know, when they're scrolling through, say, Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, I don't use Twitter, but if they're scrolling through, you want their eye to be caught immediately. So keep that in mind when you're taking a photo. And the second thing to remember when you're framing a shot is, and this is in no specific order, keep it interesting. It goes back to my first point of, you know, catching that eye as soon as possible, and that will inevitably gain traction to whatever you're trying to do. Whether you do it for a hobby or you want to do it commercially, as you know, as a business, whatever it might be, you can't skip it. So keep that in mind. There's a setting in the camera that you can use. It's a huge tool that you guys can use for framing. It's a grid. This amazing setting is found in most cameras. I'm using a DSLR, which is a Canon T6i, and you can turn it on, off, and you can actually add more lines for, you know, even getting more in depth with your framing. You use this tool to keep your video footage and your photos as symmetrical as possible. And that'll keep your audience and their OCD at bay, potentially. They'll probably find something. Tell me what I did wrong. And just a quick little note, I'm gonna eventually make a video on all these points, specifically just focusing on that point, but for this one we're just gonna kind of condense them down to a list. Alright, tip number 2, lighting. Yeah, pretty important. Lighting is definitely an essential part to getting a very crisp, nice image, whether it's videography or photography. There's many different ways to getting good lighting, whether it's, say, if it's in a controlled environment like this. I got somewhat of a 3-point lighting. I don't have a fill light because I'm looking for more of a dramatic effect. So maybe you're at the house and you want to take a photo. Use the window. Use the light on your phone. Use anything to create that effect that you want. Or maybe you're outside taking a photo. Use that sun that's provided to us. On a very clear day, it's kind of hard to get a really good picture in midday, like noon or something like that, because the sun's right above you and you'll get raccoon eyes, as they say. But keep in mind, if it's the middle of the day, 12 o'clock-ish, the sun's right above us and there's no clouds, you're gonna get shadows on your eyes and it's gonna take away from the entire picture. The most ideal time to take a photo is during golden hour. It brings your photos from here to there. And there's so many benefits to taking photos during golden hour. Warm colors, you avoid unwanted shadows, creative side lighting, silhouettes, sun stars, and that's when the sun is barely peeking over and giving us that awesome effect. It's overall less busy out, so it's a little bit easier in the editing room, so you don't have to edit out that little person in the background. You get nice, long, beautiful shadows. So lighting is one of the very important parts to setting the mood for your image. So it's framing, lighting, and angles. Angles are also a huge point. Which brings me to my next point. Tip number 3, angles. Yeah, I'm wearing basketball shorts. Angles are a very important part to taking a photo, and a lot of times it's overlooked. So without winging it and kind of hoping for the best, take those couple extra seconds and think, how many different ways can I take this picture? How many different ways can I get my audience to perceive this subject that I'm trying to portray for them? Angles are a very useful mental tool to keep in mind when you're in the field. Alright, number 4, depth. Depth is pretty easy to understand, but it's not something to overlook. So there's 3 very important sections to an image when you're taking your photo to consider: the foreground, the midground, and the background. So a lot of times you can just kind of shoot through something, you know, kind of get that depth. You don't want a flat image because it's not very appealing and it's not something that someone's going to want to look at unless they're into that. I don't know. So the 5th tip to remember when you're out on the field is stay on your toes, shoot often, and try new things. When I say stay on your toes when you're out on the field, stay focused. Stay focused above anything. Don't be in your phone. Put the phone away. Stay alert. Stay focused on what you're out there to do. Make sure you're constantly looking around to catch anything. Maybe it's a bus passing by. Maybe it's somebody doing, you know, street performance. Maybe it's something, I don't know, anything cool, anything appealing, anything that catches your eye. You want to take a video to capture that moment. And the second part, shoot often. Practice makes perfect. Trial and error, it's the only way to find out what you're good at and what you need to get better at. That's the best advice I can give to you over anything. And the third part, try new things. It also depends on what you're out to do. If you're trying to do something like I do and, you know, kind of take city tours around for your audience, travel to new places, go somewhere that you've never been to in a city that you already know. Maybe you took video over there already, but you've never been in that little back area. Maybe there's something cool back there. Maybe there's nothing back there, but as long as you try and step out of your comfort zone of what you usually do, because when I go to San Francisco, I try to go to different areas every single time, and it keeps it interesting. Use these 5 tips to up your photo game. Whether you're a photographer full-time, photographer part-time, or maybe you're just a dude with a camera that wants some good pictures. So, as always, your view is appreciated. Sorry I haven't been around for a while. I've been working on another project with Brent.
I'm Brent. I want a Brent Mobile Truck Repair.
Go check his channel out. It's Brent's Mobile Truck Repair. So thank you to everyone for taking the time to watch this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below of maybe something I forgot or maybe something you want to see in the next video. I'm always ready to create for you guys. I'm back to making videos and I appreciate every single one of you. See you on the next one. Peace.